Thank you so much, Victoria, and thank you all for joining us in this breakout today. I'm going to be speaking to a digital reading framework I've developed for higher education and adult readers that really refocuses the conversation on how digital reading can be a sustained and engaged practice. A core difference with adult readers as opposed to K-12 or younger readers is that there are really complex reasons for reading. Digital reading for adults is not just about basic literacy, uptake, or comprehension, but rather it can cover reading practices that may be meeting a range of purposes and contexts and situations. For adult readers, having time, space, focus, and attention are really core and important factors for deeper reading. And when I refer to deep reading, I'm really thinking of it in terms of Marianne Wolf's definition that it goes beyond decoded information, which might include practices like reading for content uptake or background knowledge. It goes beyond basic comprehension, which might refer to reading for research or new perspective taking. And finally, it might go beyond what the author writes or even intends, which might refer to reading for analysis, identifying themes, patterns, conclusions. In other words, there's this huge range of practices and processes that really help us understand the complexity of reading on screen. And we know these deep reading practices, these are challenging for adults regardless of the media and modality. But when it comes to reading on screen in particular, we tend just to replicate paper-based approaches to capture this really complex range of reading experiences. We have tools that allow us to highlight or put notes in the margins. And while these practices are great for helping do some of this deep reading work, there may be opportunities where we want to try something completely different, to take advantage of the customizability of digital text, to really tap into those deep reading processes in much more complex ways. In my book, Skim Dive Surface, Teaching Digital Reading, I propose 5 ways of engaging with digital reading that might allow us to better align our media and modality with the complexities and range of purposes that adult readers have. These 5 ways of engagement are curation, connection, creativity, contextualization, and contemplation. And I'm going to walk through what each of these categories mean and look like. So curation refers to readers' abilities to collect resources, bring them together, and create new knowledge as a result. So one benefit of being online is it's very easy to aggregate multiple pieces throughout a text or multiple texts in general, and move them into one place to really see how different themes might be cut across. So whether we have collaborative annotation or increased usage of tags or other kinds of tools to help us really aggregate and see connections between ideas, we can curate knowledge for research and content uptake more easily. Connection refers to readers' abilities to bridge what they're reading with prior knowledge or experiences. So we know from the learning sciences that readers tend to understand or retain more if they can connect new knowledge to something they know before. And online, we can literally create linkages through hyperlinks, links to videos, images, etc., to make those linkages really visible so that we're really able to see how old ideas build upon new ones. Creativity refers to readers' abilities to apply an idea from a reading and create something new as a result, right? So on paper, we're kind of stuck with drawing in the margins or trying to squeeze an annotation into a small space. And when we're online, we can customize the size, shape, and text to then insert kind of our own annotations or interventions in much more meaningful ways. We can have voice memos that are embedded directly in the text. We could create infographics or visual versions of text. In other words, we have this capacity online to really demonstrate lots of forms of engagement much more nimbly. Contextualization refers to readers' abilities to understand both the text's literal meaning and why the text was composed in a particular way. So adults especially are challenged sometimes with finding text that's decontextualized, right? Something they find off of Google or on an e-reader. You might forget even who wrote the book, right? So we need e-reading platforms or exercises that remind us of citation trails, of metadata or information about the text itself, how it was created, where, and from whom. We might even encourage more what we call lateral reading processes or frameworks that allow us to read outside the text so we can remember and be reminded of the intertextual exchanges. Finally, contemplation refers to readers' abilities to allocate attentional resources appropriately and articulate a clear vision for why they're reading in the first place. So a lot of adult readers complain or concern about being distracted when they read on a screen. So we want to encourage use of platforms that allow readers to choose what their text looks like what's visible in that text, what they can or can't access. That will really allow them to customize and have a more meaningful experience for them. Marianne Wolf says that reading is ultimately about encounter between a reader and another mind that leads to thinking beyond ourselves. This perspective really recenters that digital reading is social. Discuss this more in our book, and I look forward to having this conversation with the panel. Thank you.